Chosen one. If you're seeing this Thursday morning, God sent it on purpose. Listen carefully. Before you move, before you scroll, before you let this morning swallow you whole, stop. Just for a moment. Something brought you here, not the algorithm, not luck, not a random thumbnail on a random Thursday. Something inside you was already awake before your alarm went off, wasn't it? Something in your chest has been restless for days. You've been feeling it. That quiet pressure, that strange heaviness that has no name and no explanation. And this morning of all mornings you were led here. Listen carefully, because what heaven is saying to you today is not general. It is not for everyone. It is for the one who almost gave up last night and told nobody. You have been carrying something. I don't know its exact shape, but I know its weight. It's the kind of weight that doesn't show on your face. You still smile, you still answer messages, you still show up. But inside, there's a room nobody has ever been allowed to enter, and in that room, you have been quietly negotiating with God for months, maybe years. You've been asking Him for one clear sign, one small confirmation that you didn't imagine your calling, that you're not crazy, that all this waiting means something. Chosen one, this is that sign. And it arrived on a Thursday morning for a reason you're about to understand. Because Thursday is the day of almost. It's the day the week has already drained you, but the rest hasn't come yet. It's the day most people are too tired to hope and too close to the weekend to quit. And that's exactly the space where God does His deepest work. Not on your strong days, not on your loud days, on your almost days, on the mornings where your faith is more like a whisper than a shout. Heaven doesn't wait for you to be impressive. Heaven moves when you're honest. And this morning, you're too tired to pretend. That's why the message can finally reach you. Type yes if this already found something in your spirit. You may have noticed that you have never fit anywhere completely. Not really. You can walk into a room full of people and still feel like you're standing outside a window looking in. You can be loved and still feel unknown. You can be surrounded and still feel unseen. And for most of your life, you thought something was wrong with you. You tried to fix it. You changed how you spoke. You made yourself smaller. You laughed at things that weren't funny just so you'd belong. And still, something in you refused to blend. Chosen one, that wasn't a defect. That was design. You were never ordinary, and ordinary places were never going to hold you. There is a difference between being alone and being separated. Alone is empty. Separation is preparation. And what you've been walking through is separation. God has been quietly pulling you out of rooms you were never meant to stay in. He has been removing people, not to punish you, but to protect what He planted inside you. Some of those people left loudly. Some left slowly. Some are still physically near you, but spiritually gone, and you feel it, even when you can't prove it. That ache you've been feeling isn't rejection, it's relocation. Heaven has been moving you, and I know it hasn't felt holy. It has felt like loss. It has felt like long drives with no music on. It has felt like sitting in your car outside your own house because you needed 5 more minutes before you had to be strong again. Nothing about your life has been accidental, but that doesn't mean it hasn't been painful. God never asked you to pretend the pain wasn't real. He only asked you to trust that it wasn't wasted. And chosen one, it wasn't. Every tear you cried in private was collected. Every prayer you whispered with a shaking voice was heard. Every night you survived was recorded in heaven as a victory, even when you scored it as a failure. Let me tell you something about the way you were made, because you've been misunderstanding yourself for years. You feel too much. You know it. People have told you. You've been called sensitive, dramatic, too deep, too intense, too quiet, too much and not enough in the same breath. But that sensitivity is not weakness. It's equipment. You can walk into a room and know something is wrong before a word is spoken. You can hear what people mean instead of what they say. You can sense when someone is lying, even when everyone else is charmed. That's not anxiety. That's discernment. God gave you an instrument and you've been apologizing for the music. And here's what nobody told you. That same gift is why you've been so exhausted. You've been absorbing what other people put down. You've been carrying the emotional weight of your family, your friends, your workplace, sometimes strangers. You became everyone's safe place and nobody asked who was holding you. That's the loneliness of the called. Everyone comes to you for strength and nobody imagines you might need some. Chosen one. Heaven sees the caretaker who has never been taken care of. And this Thursday morning, he is turning his attention to you. There is a reason you are hearing this today, because you are about to make a decision out of exhaustion. You are about to close a door that God hasn't finished with. You are about to accept a smaller version of your life because the bigger one has taken too long to arrive. And heaven interrupted, not with thunder, with a whisper. Now, that's how he always speaks to you, isn't it? Never loud, always in the quiet, always in the moment right before you break. He's never been late, he's just been thorough. Now let me talk about the delay, because that's the thing that's been eating you alive. You've watched other people get what you prayed for. You've watched people with half your heart get double your reward. You've celebrated for them out loud and grieved for yourself in silence, and then you felt guilty for grieving. Chosen one, hear this clearly. Your delay is not denial, and it is not punishment. There are things God cannot give you until he can trust you to hold them without losing yourself. What you were asking for at 22 would have destroyed you. What you're being prepared for now can't be rushed. Depth takes time. Roots grow in the dark. Think about it. If God had answered you when you first asked, you would have received the blessing with the same hands that used to grab, the same heart that used to beg for approval, the same fear that used to make you settle. He didn't ignore you. He rebuilt you every year of waiting, removed something you didn't even know was killing you. The people-pleasing, the desperation, the need to be understood by people who were never going to understand. You are not the same person who prayed that first prayer. And that's the entire point. Type 777 if you're ready to trust God's timing again. You may have noticed something strange happening lately. You've been waking up at odd hours, 2 in the morning, 3, sometimes right before 4, with your eyes open and your heart calm but alert, like something was called in you and you answered before you understood the question. That's not insomnia, chosen one. That's an invitation. Heaven speaks in the hours when the world goes quiet enough for you to hear. And you've been receiving downloads you couldn't explain, sudden clarity, sudden names in your mind, sudden urges to pray for someone you haven't spoken to in years. That's not your imagination, that's your assignment leaking through. And there's more. You've been dreaming again. Vivid dreams. Some beautiful, some unsettling. Places you've never been that felt like home. Faces you've never met that felt familiar. Water, doors, roads, rooms with light coming from somewhere you can't locate. You wake up and the feeling stays with you all day like perfume. Some of those dreams were warnings, some were previews. Chosen one, you're not losing your mind. Your spirit is coming online. And what's about to happen in your waking life will make those dreams make sense. But I have to be honest with you about something, because a soft message would be a disservice this morning. The awakening comes with resistance, always has. The moment you started moving toward your purpose, something started pushing back. You felt it, sudden confusion out of nowhere, old temptations returning with new faces, people from your past reappearing at exactly the wrong time, delays in things that should have been simple, arguments that started over nothing, a heaviness that landed on you the second you decided to pray more. That's not bad luck, that's opposition. And opposition only shows up where there's something worth stopping. Nobody fights for an empty room. Nobody guards a treasure that isn't there. The enemy of your soul does not waste energy on people going nowhere. Chosen one. The level of resistance in your life is a measurement of the value of your destiny. Read that again in your heart. You have been under attack because you are carrying something heaven wants released and hell wants buried. And the fact that you're still standing this Thursday morning, still praying, still hoping, still here, that is not survival. That is defiance. You have already won more battles than you gave yourself credit for. Let me remind you of something you've forgotten. Remember the thing that should have destroyed you? You know the one. Maybe it was a loss. Maybe it was a betrayal you never fully recovered from. Maybe it was a season so dark you don't talk about it, not even to the people closest to you. You should not have come out of that hole. Statistically, emotionally, logically, you shouldn't be functioning right now, but you are. Something held you, something covered you. You called it luck. Heaven calls it protection. And that protection has a name, and it has been assigned to you since before you took your first breath. There were doors you cried over that were locked for your safety. There were relationships that ended right before they would have ruined you. There were opportunities that fell through weeks before the whole thing collapsed. You didn't see the accident you avoided. You didn't see the trap that closed on empty air. You only saw the disappointment. Chosen one, God has been saving your life in ways you will never fully know until you see the whole picture. Some of your unanswered prayers were the greatest gifts you ever received. Comment amen if you know God has protected you from things you never even saw. And now I need you to sit with something uncomfortable, because real freedom lives on the other side of it. Some of your pain came from people, real people. People who should have chosen you and didn't. People who should have protected you and looked away. Maybe a parent, maybe a partner, maybe a friend who knew exactly where to hit because you had shown them where you were soft. And you've been carrying that, quietly, politely. You've been functioning around it like a stone in your shoe you've learned to walk on. Heaven wants to talk to you about that stone this morning. Because the resentment you're holding isn't protecting you. It's costing you. It's taking up space where your peace is supposed to live. Forgiveness is not saying it was okay. Forgiveness is not letting them back in. Forgiveness is refusing to let someone who hurt you once keep charging you rent for the rest of your life. Chosen one, you can honor your wound and still release the weight. You can remember and still be free. And the moment you let it go, you're going to feel something loosen in your chest that has been tight for years. Some of you have been praying for a breakthrough while gripping a grudge with both hands. And God, in His kindness, has been waiting, not withholding, waiting. Because He knows that if the blessing arrives while the bitterness is still there, the bitterness will spread into it and spoil it. He's not delaying your harvest, He's clearing your soil. And that's love, even when it doesn't feel like it. Now hear this, because it's the part heaven underlined for you. Something is shifting, not someday, now, in this season. You've been sensing it, and you've been afraid to say it out loud because you've been disappointed before. You've had false starts, you've had almosts. You've had moments where you thought, this is it, and then nothing happened, and you had to rebuild your hope from scratch again. So now you hold your faith carefully, like something already cracked. Chosen one, I understand. But you're allowed to hope again, even after everything, especially after everything, because the ground is different this time. Look at your own life. You are not desperate anymore. You are not chasing. You have learned how to be alone without falling apart. You have learned how to pray without seeing results and still get up the next day. You have learned how to love people who can't love you back and let them go anyway. Those aren't small things. Those are the qualifications. God doesn't hand the harvest to the person who wants it most. He hands it to the person who has been prepared to steward it. And you are prepared now, even though you don't feel it. Feelings are the last thing to change, by the way. That's why you still feel behind. That's why you still feel unqualified. Your emotions are running on old information. They haven't received the update yet. Your spirit knows something your feelings haven't caught up to. That's why you feel this strange mix of exhaustion and expectancy at the same time. Tired in your body, but electric somewhere underneath. That's not confusion. That's transition. You're standing between who you were and who you're becoming, and that space always feels unstable. It's supposed to. Type 1111 if you feel that shift happening in your life right now. There are people in your life who won't survive this transition. I need to prepare you for that gently. Not because they're evil, but because they knew you in a version you're no longer living in. Some people love you at a certain altitude and get uncomfortable when you rise. They'll call it concern. They'll say you've changed. And you have. That's the point. Chosen one, do not shrink yourself back down to keep the peace with people who only had peace when you were struggling. Let the discomfort do its work. The ones who are meant for your future will adjust. The ones who aren't will excuse themselves, and you should let the door close gently behind them. And in that quiet after they leave, you're going to meet yourself. Maybe for the first time, without the noise, without the roles, without the labels other people put on you before you were old enough to argue. That's when the real work begins. Not in the crowd, but in the empty room. And I promise you, the person you find in there is stronger, softer, and far more beautiful than you were ever allowed to believe. I want to say something to the one who has been questioning their faith. Yes, you, the one who still prays but doesn't feel anything anymore. The one who reads the words and they land flat. The one who has been going through the motions and feeling like a fraud for it. Chosen one, listen carefully. The fact that you still show up when you feel nothing is not hypocrisy. It's the highest form of faith there is. Anyone can worship in the sunlight. Only the deeply called keep speaking to God in the silence. Your dry season is not distance. Sometimes God gets quiet, so you learn to walk without needing to be carried. And the silence will break. It always does. Usually suddenly. Usually on an ordinary day when you're doing something small. Washing dishes, driving to work, folding laundry, and something lands on you, and you have to stop moving because the presence is too heavy to stand in casually. That's coming. Maybe this week. And you'll remember this morning. You'll remember that you almost scrolled past and something told you to stay. Now let's talk about what you're actually here for. Purpose. That word that has haunted you since you were young. You've always known there was something. You couldn't name it, but you could feel it. A pull, a pressure, a sense that your life was supposed to mean something beyond just getting through it. And that knowing has tortured you, hasn't it? Because knowing you have a purpose without knowing what it is might be the loneliest feeling on earth. But here's what heaven wants you to understand this Thursday. Your purpose is not a job title. It's not a stage, it's not a follow account or a business or a moment where everyone finally claps. Your purpose is who you become and what that person releases into the world. And most of it will happen in rooms nobody films, in conversations nobody records, in the way you treat the person nobody else notices. Chosen one, you may already be walking in your purpose and calling it an ordinary life. Think about the people you've already saved without knowing. The message you sent on a random afternoon that arrived on the worst day of someone's life. The time you stayed on the phone longer than you wanted to. The kindness you showed to someone who never told you they were 3 steps from the edge. You have been an answer to prayers you never heard prayed. That's the assignment. That's always been the assignment. And the bigger platform, if it comes, will only be an amplification of who you already are in private. Like this video, if you know deep down that your life is meant for something bigger than you can currently see. But there's something I have to address, because it's been sitting on your chest. You feel behind. You compare your timeline to people who are younger, faster, further. You look at where you thought you'd be by now, and you feel a kind of grief for the version of your life that didn't happen. Chosen one, hear this. You are not behind. You are on a different clock entirely. Some destinies are built early and burn out. Yours was built to last, and that takes longer. The strongest trees grow slowest. The deepest wells take longest to dig. You didn't lose those years, you were being formed in them. And every single thing you went through has become material. Your pain became empathy. Your betrayal became discernment. Your loneliness became depth. Your rejection became independence. Your failures became wisdom you could never have learned from a book. Nothing was wasted, not 1 year, not one heartbreak, not one humiliation you still cringe about at night. God is the only one who can take the worst chapter of your story and turn it into the reason someone else survives theirs. So stop apologizing for the long road. The long road built the version of you that can carry what's coming. If it had been easy, you'd be shallow. If it had been fast, you'd be fragile. You are neither. You are tested. And tested people don't break when the weight arrives. Now let me speak to the fear underneath everything, because it's time. You're afraid it won't happen. You're afraid you'll wake up at the end of your life and realize you were wrong about all of it. That the pull you felt was just your own longing. that the signs were coincidence, that you built your hope on a feeling. Chosen one, I know that fear. It visits at 3 in the morning. It's the one that makes your chest tight. And here's the answer heaven gives to it. You didn't invent this pull. You couldn't have. Longing this specific doesn't come from nowhere. Hunger is proof that food exists. You wouldn't ache for a purpose in a universe that had none to give you. And there's more evidence than you're crediting. Look at the coincidences that were too precise. The right person at the right moment. The money that came from an angle you never expected. The job that appeared the week after the other one collapsed. The stranger who said the exact sentence you'd been praying about. You've been keeping score of the disappointments and ignoring the miracles. Today, count differently. Go back through your life and count the moments that shouldn't have worked out and did. You'll run out of fingers. Type 222 if you are ready for your breakthrough season. Here is your instruction for this Thursday, and I want you to take it seriously because messages like this are meant to be lived and not just felt. First, rest. Actually rest. You have been operating in a state of alert for so long that your body has forgotten what safety feels like. You cannot receive with clenched hands. You cannot hear clearly through exhaustion. The most spiritual thing some of you will do today is sleep, eat properly, drink water, and stop treating your own body like an inconvenience. God lives in that body. Take care of the temple. Second, speak to someone real. Chosen one, heaven speaks in whispers, but it also speaks through people. Through friends who love you, through wise counsel, through the ones who have walked this road before you. You were never meant to carry this alone in your head. Isolation is preparation for a season, but it is not a permanent address. If the weight has become too much, tell someone. That's not weakness, and it's not a lack of faith. Some of God's clearest answers arrive in the voice of a person who cares about you. Let them. Third, obey the small thing. There's something you've been avoiding. You know exactly what it is. It came to mind the second I said it. A conversation, an apology, a message, a decision, a habit you need to release. A step that feels too small to matter. Chosen one, breakthrough almost never begins with a dramatic act. It begins with a small obedience you've been postponing for months. Do that thing today. That's the key in the lock. And fourth, expect, not passively, actively. Get up tomorrow like something is coming. Prepare the room, clean the space, make the plan, write the goal down. Faith that doesn't change your behavior isn't faith, it's a wish. When you start moving like the answer is on its way, something shifts in the atmosphere around you. Heaven responds to expectation. Now I want to tell you what I sense over this next season for you, and I want you to hold it loosely and faithfully at the same time. There is a reversal coming. Something that has been stuck is going to move, and it's going to move faster than you're ready for. Something you wrote off as dead is going to show a sign of life. A door you knocked on years ago is going to open from the inside, and you won't even have to push. Chosen one, God specializes in the unexpected return. He is not limited by how long it's been. There's also a person coming, not to complete you, you're not incomplete, but to recognize you. Someone who will look at you and see the thing you've spent your whole life hoping someone would notice. And when they see it, something in you is going to relax that has been tense since childhood. You will finally stop performing. You will finally be able to sit in a room and just exist. That's coming too. And there's provision. I want to be careful here because faith is not a transaction and God is not a vending machine. But I sense a lifting, a loosening of pressure, a season where the math finally works, where you don't check the balance with your stomach in a knot, where you can breathe. You have carried financial fear for so long that you've normalized it, and heaven wants to tell you that the tightness was never meant to be permanent. Keep working, keep planning wisely, but release the panic. The panic was never yours to hold. But above all of that, above the door, the person, the provision, there's something greater coming, and it's the thing you actually need most. Peace, real peace. Not the fake calm of a good day, the deep kind that sits underneath everything and doesn't move when circumstances do. You have been chasing outcomes, hoping they'd give you peace, and heaven is going to reverse the order. He's going to give you peace first, and then the outcomes. Because if you get the outcomes without the peace, you'll just find something new to be afraid of. Chosen one, let me say something to you that maybe nobody has said in the way you needed to hear it. You are not too late. You are not too damaged. You are not disqualified by anything in your past. Whatever you did, whatever was done to you, whatever you're ashamed of, whatever you think would make God turn his face away, he already knew. He knew before he chose you. He didn't choose the polished version of you that doesn't exist. He chose you, the tired one, the one with the history, the one who has failed in ways nobody knows. That's who was called. And that's the part that breaks people open, isn't it? Not judgment. Judgment we can handle. We've been handling it our whole lives. It's the kindness that undoes us. It's being loved in the exact place we thought we were unlovable. If your eyes are wet right now, that's not weakness. That's a wall coming down. Let it come down. You've been holding it up alone for long enough. I want to speak to the one who is at the end, the one who typed a message last night and deleted it, the one who has been quietly wondering if the world would be lighter without you in it. Chosen one, please hear me carefully, because this part matters more than anything else in this message. That thought is a liar. It came from the exhaustion, not from the truth. You are needed here in ways you cannot currently see by people who have not met you yet, and you do not have to carry this by yourself for even one more day. Please talk to someone today, a friend, a family member, a doctor, a crisis line in your country. Reaching out is not the end of your faith, it is an act of it. Heaven is not asking you to be strong alone. It never was. For everyone listening, take that seriously. The strongest people I know are the ones who learn to ask for help. There is no version of your calling that requires you to suffer in silence. The isolation of this season was meant to shape you, not to swallow you. And if it has started to swallow you, that's the moment to let someone in. Now let's come back to this Thursday morning, because we're almost at the end, and I don't want you to leave without the most important part. You woke up today. That's not small. Some mornings, waking up is the entire miracle, and you woke up with breath in your lungs and a heart still beating and a spirit still reaching, even after everything that tried to close it. That means the story isn't over. That means there are pages left. That means whatever heaven started in you is still being written, and no one, not a person, not a mistake, not a season, not a delay, has the authority to close the book. Everything you have survived was survivable. Look at the evidence. You are the proof. Every single one of your worst days has a 100% survival rate so far, and the thing that carried you through them didn't get tired and hasn't left. You just stopped noticing it, the way you stopped noticing the ground you walk on. Chosen one, the ground is still there. It has always been there. So here's what I want you to do when this ends. Don't rush back into the noise. Sit for 1 minute. Just one. Put your hand on your chest and feel it moving. That rhythm has been going since before you had memories, without you asking, without you managing it, without you earning it. Something has been sustaining you your whole life without permission. That same something is handling what you're worried about right now, and then go live today like you believe it. Not perfectly, not without fear, just like someone who has been told the truth. Speak to people gently. Let something go. Do the small thing you've been avoiding. And when the doubt comes back, and it will, probably before lunch, remember that doubt showing up doesn't cancel what you know. It just means you're human, and heaven has always worked with humans. Chosen one, this is your confirmation. Not a maybe, not a coincidence. You were carried here on purpose on a Thursday morning, in the middle of an ordinary week, at the exact moment your faith was thinnest. That's how he does it. Always in the almost. Always right before you quit. Nothing about your life has been accidental, and nothing about this moment is random either. You were never ordinary, you were never forgotten, you were never behind, you were being made ready, and whatever comes next, you will not walk into it alone. Comment amen if you receive this, and share it with the one person you know needs to hear it today. Someone in your life is having their almost morning too. Go gently. Breathe. Your season is turning.